Walk into any pharmacy and you are immediately overwhelmed. Multivitamins promising everything from energy to immunity for $50 a month. Individual bottles of lutein, CoQ10, collagen, probiotics, omega-3, glutathione. Each one making its own miraculous claims. You grab a few, spend more than you planned, and spend the next year swallowing pills out of obligation, while never feeling quite sure any of them are doing anything. Today that confusion ends. Decades of clinical research, when stripped of marketing noise, point to a surprisingly simple truth. There are two nutrients that the vast majority of modern adults are structurally deficient in, not because they eat poorly, but because modern life makes adequate intake nearly impossible. Those two nutrients are vitamin D and magnesium, and the evidence linking their deficiency to cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, depression, high blood pressure, poor sleep, and chronic fatigue is more compelling than the evidence supporting almost any other supplement on the shelf. This video explains exactly why expensive multivitamins consistently fail to deliver results, why vitamin D and magnesium must be taken together to work, what their deficiency is silently doing to your body right now, and precisely how much of each you need and when to take it. Start with the multivitamin problem. A study analyzing more than 21,000 medical records found no meaningful health difference between regular multivitamin users and non-users. Large-scale randomized controlled trial analyses confirm that for the general population, multivitamin supplementation shows no overall health benefit. The reason is straightforward. Packing 30 nutrients into one tablet forces each individual ingredient into a dose too small to be clinically effective. Worse, many nutrients in multivitamins directly compete for the same absorption channels. Calcium and magnesium fight for the same intestinal transporters. Iron interferes with vitamin D activation. Zinc competes with copper. The result is that most of what you swallow passes through you unabsorbed, turned directly into expensive urine. The reason vitamin D and magnesium stand apart is that modern life has made adequate intake of both nearly impossible through food and sun exposure alone. And critically, these two nutrients depend on each other in a way that makes taking one without the other a serious waste. Magnesium is an essential cofactor for every step of vitamin D metabolism, from synthesis in the skin to transport in the blood to activation in the liver and kidneys. When magnesium is deficient, vitamin D supplements cannot be properly converted into the active form your body actually uses. Research confirms this directly. Patients given vitamin D supplements while magnesium deficient showed minimal improvement in their 2,5-OH vitamin D blood levels. When magnesium was added, levels rose significantly. If you have been taking vitamin D and felt no benefit, low magnesium is likely why. Now for the first nutrient, vitamin D. Approximately 1 billion people worldwide have low vitamin D status. This is not a marginal problem, it is a global health crisis, driven by the same thing in every country: people spending the vast majority of their waking hours indoors. The reference range for adequate vitamin D is 30 ng/ml or higher. A large portion of adults are below 20 ng/ml, with some falling below 10 ng/ml. A level of deficiency severe enough to affect virtually every system in the body. Vitamin D is not simply a bone mineral. Its receptor is found on nearly every cell in the human body, and it governs immune regulation, cell division suppression, blood pressure control, insulin secretion, muscle function, and neurological signaling. Meta-analyses of randomized controlled trials published in recent years show that daily vitamin D supplementation is associated with a 12 to 16% reduction in total cancer mortality. One analysis of multiple trials found that people who took vitamin D supplements for at least 3 years had a 13% lower cancer death rate than those who did not. A separate analysis found that individuals with vitamin D deficiency face a 25% higher risk of death from all causes, including cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, and cancer, compared to those with adequate levels. Beyond mortality statistics, low vitamin D is associated with depression, seasonal mood disorder, loss of muscle strength, weakened immunity, osteoporosis, and elevated blood pressure risk. The recommended daily dose for most adults is 1,500 to 2,000 IU of vitamin D3. Not the conservative 400 to 600 IU listed as the minimum bone health threshold. People with obesity may need 2,000 to 3,000 IU. Because body fat sequesters vitamin D and lowers circulating blood levels, vitamin D toxicity risk begins above 4,000 IU taken long-term. So 2,000 IU is well within safe limits for general use. Because vitamin D is fat-soluble, it must be taken with a fat-containing meal to be absorbed effectively. Taking it on an empty stomach reduces absorption significantly. Morning or lunchtime with food is optimal. Avoid taking it late at night, as some individuals report sleep disruption with evening dosing. Now for the second nutrient, magnesium. This mineral participates in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body: energy production, DNA synthesis, protein synthesis, nerve signal transmission, muscle contraction and relaxation, blood pressure regulation, and blood sugar control. It is difficult to name a biological process that does not require magnesium in some capacity. Yet research indicates that fewer than 57% of Korean adults meet the average required intake for magnesium. In the United States, more than half the population is estimated to be in a state of subclinical magnesium deficiency. What does this deficiency look like in practice? Sleep quality deteriorates. Magnesium activates GABA receptors that calm the nervous system, and clinical studies show magnesium supplementation effectively improves sleep quality and reduces anxiety, particularly in people with low baseline levels. Blood pressure rises. Magnesium relaxes vascular smooth muscle, and evidence consistently shows a significant blood pressure lowering effect, especially in hypertensive patients. Blood sugar becomes harder to manage. People in the top 25% of magnesium intake show a 36% lower risk of type 2 diabetes compared to the bottom group. Each additional 100 mg of daily magnesium intake is associated with an 8 to 15% reduction in type 2 diabetes risk. According to meta-analysis data, add to this frequent migraines, muscle cramps, chronic fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and worsening depression, all symptoms that can arise from magnesium deficiency alone, with no other underlying disease necessary. When choosing a magnesium supplement, the form matters enormously. Magnesium oxide is the cheapest form, but has an absorption rate of only around 4%, effectively useless for most purposes. The most bioavailable forms are magnesium glycinate, which is gentle on the stomach and ideal for sleep and anxiety support, and magnesium citrate, which absorbs well and offers excellent value. Avoid oxide-based formulations. The recommended daily dose is 350 to 420 milligrams of elemental magnesium for men and 280 to 320 milligrams for women. Take magnesium in the evening, with dinner or 30 minutes before bed. Its calming effect on the nervous system makes evening dosing a natural fit that reinforces better sleep. Here is your 7-day implementation plan. On day 1, assess your starting point. If possible, request a 250H vitamin D blood test. Normal is 30 ng/ml or above. Deficiency is below 20 ng/ml. If you cannot test immediately, begin with 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily. The D3 form raises blood levels significantly more effectively than D2. On day 2, add magnesium glycinate or citrate to your evening routine. Start at half the standard dose to let your digestive system adjust, and increase to the full dose over the first week. On days 3 through 5, lock in the pattern. Vitamin D with breakfast or lunch, magnesium with dinner, or 30 minutes before sleep. Taking supplements consistently with meals is the single most important factor in absorption. On day 6, audit your food. Vitamin D-rich foods include fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, egg yolks, and sun-dried mushrooms. Magnesium-rich foods include almonds, cashews, spinach, tofu, bananas, and black beans. Supplements support your diet, they do not replace it. On day 7, clear your shelf. List every supplement you currently take. Any supplement without strong personal clinical justification meaning either a confirmed deficiency or a documented condition that it treats. Remove it. More is not better. Fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K accumulate in body tissue and can cause toxicity at high doses. Even water-soluble supplements burden the kidneys when taken in excess. A few critical safety notes. Anyone with impaired kidney function must consult a doctor before starting magnesium. The kidneys regulate magnesium excretion, and dysfunction can lead to dangerous buildup. People with granulomatous conditions including sarcoidosis or tuberculosis should exercise caution with vitamin D supplementation. If you take blood pressure medication, diuretics, or diabetes medication, magnesium may interact with their effects. Confirm with your prescribing physician first. Pregnant and breastfeeding women have different requirements and should determine dosing with their doctor. If this video helped you cut through the supplement confusion, subscribe now and share it with someone who is currently spending a fortune on supplements they do not need. Leave a comment telling me what you are currently taking. The answers might surprise you.